Morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you're out in the world. Welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. It is going to be a Central League matchup tonight, as we will be covering the Hanshin Tigers and the Chunichi Dragons. And we are going to be giving you a break from the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, who he seemed to have been calling over the last little bit. Even though it is fun to do the Hawks and the Fighters, we are going to change streams and do the Tigers and Dragons tonight. We're first of all going to give you the starting lineup for the visitors from Osaka, the Hanshin Tigers. Leading off tonight and in center field is number 5, Koji Chikamoto. Batting second and playing second base is number 7, Takuma Nakano. Hitting third in right field is number 1, Shota Morishita. Batting in the cleanup spot and playing third base is number 8, Teruyaki Sato. Batting in the fifth spot and playing first base is number 3, Yusuke Oyama. Batting in the sixth spot and playing shortstop is number 0, Seiya Kanami. Batting seventh in left field is number 58, Yukio Maegawa. Batting eighth and doing the catching is number 17, Tori Fushimi. And batting ninth, the pitcher wearing number 29, it's Haruto Takahashi. And they are going to be facing the other Takahashi starter in this game, and that is Hiroshi Takahashi. He'll take to the hill for the Dragons with an 0-1 record. He's worked 14 innings in 2 starts. He's allowed 14 hits, 6 runs, 3 of which have been earned, walking 4 and striking out 17 while pitching to a 1.93 earned run average. Well, that's your starting lineup for the Tigers. Now your starting lineup for the home team, the Chunichi Dragons. Leading off at third base, wearing number 7 is Hiroki Fukunaga. Batting second and playing second base is number 2, Mikiya Tanaka. Hitting third at first base is number 28, that's Miguel Sano. Batting in the fourth spot and in left field is number 55, Seiya Hosokawa. Batting fifth in right field is number 24, Jason Vossler. Hitting sixth in center field is number 57, Asahi Haneda. Batting in the seventh spot, playing shortstop is number 5, Kaito Muramatsu. Hitting eighth and doing the catching is number 49, Takuma Kato. Batting ninth and doing the pitching is number 19, Haruto Takahashi. And they are going to be facing, as we said, the other Takahashi, Haruto Takahashi, who will take to the hill for the Tigers tonight. He's worked 15 innings. He's allowed 8 hits, 1 run earned, walking 3, striking out 10, and pitching to a microscopic 0.60 ERA. We are just a couple moments away from all of the action. We are glad you guys could hang in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. It'll be Tigers versus the Dragons when we come back in 30 seconds. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody, as we are ready to get this one underway. It is the right-hander Hiroshi Takahashi on the hill for the Dragons, and the first pitch on the way to Koji Chikamoto is a fastball swung on. It is grounded on a couple of hops to Miguel Sano at first, and with one pitch, we have one away to get this one going here in the first inning. So Chikamoto in the books, and that is going to bring up the second baseman in Takuma Nakano. Well, for Nakano, he is hitting .276 on the season. He's got no homers and 4 runs batted in as he steps to the plate here to face the starter Takahashi. As the first pitch is on the way, it is a fastball taken for a ball upstairs. That looked like it was a pretty good pitch. So 1 ball and no strikes. Right-hander ready to go again as he kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball taken this time for a called strike. The count is 1-1. I'm not really sure what the difference between the first 2 pitches were, as both looked like they were pretty good. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Nakano. Again, the right-hander holds to the set position, kicks and delivers. It's a fastball missing down and away, and the count goes to 2-1. Nakano getting the start at second base tonight for the Tigers. A regular fixture defensively for the ball club. So 2 balls and 1 strike as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to short, fielded neatly by the shortstop Muramatsu, who throws to first. And that is going to retire Nakano. That's going to go as a ground out, 6-3. So 2 up and 2 away here. And that is going to bring up the right fielder in Shota Morishita. 1904 ex-Jozu, or if I said that correctly, says, who's pitching? It's a battle of Takahashi versus Takahashi. You can't go wrong there. Hiroto Takahashi is the pitcher for the Tigers, and Hiroshi Takahashi for the Dragons. As the right-hander ready to go. He kicks and he delivers. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. You're just going to have to listen in and pay attention as we give you the call. We'll don't take orders on how we're going to present this. So get an idea and a feel for how we call it, and you can go from there. So 1 ball and no strikes to Morishita. As the right-hander delivers, there's a split-finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count is 1-1. Defensively tonight for the Dragons, from left to right field, Hosokawa is in left. Haneda is in center. In right field, it's Vossler. Around the horn from first to third, it is Sano at first, Tanaka at second. The shortstop is Muramatsu, and Fukunaga at third, with the battery of Takahashi and Kato. And the pitch is a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Morishita really up on the plate here as the right-hander delivers again. There's a fastball taken at the knees for a called third strike. Morishita stood there like the house by the side of the road, and he is in the books for out number 3, and that's going to do it here for the Tigers in their half of the first inning. They go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Your score after a half inning. It is the Tigers, nothing, and the Dragons coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with all the action here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel in just a few.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. It was a quiet inning for the Tigers, and the Dragons are coming to bat here in their half. It'll be Fukunaga, Tanaka, and Sano to come to the plate to face the starter for the Hanshin Tigers, which is Haruto Takahashi. So it's a righty versus a lefty. The lefty belongs to the Tigers. The righty is with the Dragons. And so both of these here are ready to go. Our friend John Smith says that was a ball. Is the up blind? I guess we'll have to find out here in a couple minutes. So we'll see what it is. So Fukunaga at the plate. And the first pitch from the lefty is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. Maybe only if you're John Schneider of the Toronto Blue Jays could you maybe have something like that to be said. As there's a breaking ball swung on it, is chopped foul down the third base line, and the count quickly goes to 0-2 on Fukunaga. Getaway day, Sunday afternoon baseball. It is 1:30 local time. If you're joining us on the West Coast, it is 9:30. In North America, 12:30 on the East Coast. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on line right over the head of the pitcher. He knocks it down. It deflects over to the second baseman, but Nakano unable to pick it up. It was more self-defense than anything for Takahashi as he had to get the glove up. It was coming right at his head. And he got the glove up, deflected it to the second baseman, but they were unable to make the play. That's going to go down as an infield hit on an 0-2 pitch. Way too good of an 0-2 pitch to Fukunaga. As he put a great swing on that, he's going to get himself a single. And that is going to bring up Makiya Tanaka to the plate. Our friend Samurai Prayer in the house. He says, peace and blessings to you from Osaka. We welcome you to the stream. Pivoted last night. Thought I'd do the Takahashi battle here. Already scoring the bunt is Tanaka, and there's a fastball that comes inside and just misses for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to Mikiya Tanaka. Tanaka hitting 191 on the early going. No homers and 3 RBIs. Batting from the right side here against the left-handed throwing Takahashi. Again, squaring the bunt is the second baseman of the Dragons. Not a big fella, diminutive in size. As there is a fastball delivered. It's bunted down the first baseline. It's a good one. Oh, almost threw it away. Nice job there by the second baseman to stretch for it as he was covering the bag at first. That's going to go down as a sacrifice, and it's going to go into the books as they put out 1, 2, 4. So that's one in the books as Fukunaga has advanced himself over to second. He's going to bring up the first baseman in Miguel Sano. So for Sano, he's hitting 195 in the early going, but he does have 3 homers and 6 runs batted in. As he steps in here, batting from the right side. The lefty Takahashi working himself to the belt. Checks the runner over at second. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses down, and the count is 1-0. Defensively tonight for the Tigers, from left to right field, it is Magawa in left, the center fielder Chikamoto, in right field Morishita. Around the horn from first to third, Oyama is at first, Nakano is at second, the shortstop is Kanami, and over at third base it is Sato with the battery of Takahashi and Fushimi. So the lefty holding to the set position, kicks and delivers. There's a fastball at the knees, taken for a called strike, and the count runs even to Sano at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I have to say, looking at Miguel Sano, we saw him in the exhibition season and saw him against the Samurai Japan. Looks like he has trimmed down a little bit. He looked like he was probably closer to 300 pounds when he was with the Angels organization a couple of years ago. Breaking ball swung on and chopped foul over on the third base side. The count is 1-2. He's still young enough he may be able to salvage a career for himself in Japan. At the same time, maintaining his health, staying in decent shape, might be the greater battle for him than maybe playing the game itself. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sano. Dragons fans are on their feet in parts of the stadium as the 1-2 is on the way. Breaking ball misses down. The count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, Sano digging himself back in. As the runner at second base establishes his lead. As the lefty checks the runner over at second, here comes the 2-2 offering. Pitch on the way, fastball, swung on and missed. That is going to retire Sano. He's down on strikes for the second out of the inning. That is going to leave it up to the left fielder in Seiya Hosokawa. Well, for Hosokawa, he's off to a great start this season. He's hitting .348 in the early going. He's got 2 homers and 8 runs driven in. Friend Samurai Prayer says, thank you for picking his favorite team's game tonight. Yeah, as I mentioned, I looked at the pitching matchup. Originally, I thought about maybe doing the the Bay Stars and the Carp. I have to admit, I didn't like the pitching matchup as well as I did here. So here comes the first offering to the right-handed hitting Hosokawa. It's a fastball that misses well off the outside corner. Count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. And we haven't really done anything in the Central League in the regular season, so we figured we'd try to squeeze one of these in. I'm more familiar with the Pacific League as a whole. But it's funny, every time I'm in Japan, it's usually I add 10 more Central League games than I do Pacific League games. That's just because of the geography where I'm at. Fastball misses up, and the count is 2-0 to Hosokawa. At least that's been historically the case. That might change if I spend some time more in Hokkaido and the Sendai region. Of course, I'd spend time seeing that there. As Samurai Prayer says, the Battle of the Takahashis, it has the makings of a low-scoring game. I would agree with that. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Hosokawa. Had a big-time hack at that pitch. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Jason Vossler is waiting his turn on deck if Hosokawa can keep the inning going. I have to say there's some strong numbers in the middle of the order here for the Dragons. Of course, one of the big losses is Okabayashi being hurt. Not in the lineup tonight. He's going to be out for a bit. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. Count goes to 2-2. When I say breaking ball, sometimes it could be a curveball, it could be a slider, it could be a different type of form. And that one there looked like it was a kind of a slider without any back foot type of movement. Usually the lefties will try to come in onto the back foot of the hitter, but that one was down and away. Didn't have the, it had the depth, but it didn't have the movement from left to right that you would expect. So 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Hosokawa. 2 gone in the inning. Runner at second, Fukunaga. The pitch on the way. And there is another slider swung on and missed, and Hosokawa is gone in the books. He's out for out number 3. And that is going to do it here for the Dragons in their half of the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. Your score as we are through 1 complete. It is the Tigers nothing and the Dragons nothing. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in about 60 seconds with all the action right after this musical timeout. Top of the second, just around the corner. 0-0, Tigers and Dragons. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with all the action.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name. And I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. Our friend Wondrous Talk Show back in the house tonight. Thank you for stopping in. Our friend Samurai Prayer, he comes from Osaka, and his team is the Tigers. As it is going to be Sato Oyama and Kanami to come to bat here in inning number 2. The first pitch delivered to Sato was a fastball that misses up. Only 9 pitches in the first inning for the Dragons, Takahashi. As the 1-0 pitch is on the way, there's a fastball that misses inside. And the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Sato taps both sides of the plate. As the right-hander ready to go back to work. Here comes the pitch. Fastball center cut for a called strike. The count is 2-1. You know, Sato with the 377 average out of the gate, 3 homers and 14 RBIs. We were talking last night about his move to, or at the end of the season, it's expected he will be posted for Major League Baseball. Got a left-handed hitting third baseman outfielder. There's a fastball swung on it. It's lined into right field. It's going to get down. And is it going to get in there? Yeah, it looks like it bounces up in front of Jason Vossler. As Vossler is going to get it on the short hop. And that is going to be another hit here for Sato. So his torrid start to the season continues. Our friend Wondrous Talk Show has dropped us a super chat, and we thank you for doing that. It's very nice of you. As we are kind of operating a little differently than we were the last couple of nights. And he says, greetings from Nashville, Tennessee. I've been there twice. Love that. Actually, I've been there more than twice. I think I've been there 3 times. Been to the Grand Ole Opry a couple of times, once at the Ryman Auditorium, and what at another location when the Ryman was being redone. Yeah, here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is on the fists, and it'll get looped foul down the right field line, and the count is 0-1 to Oyama. Nashville, Tennessee, I was in. Where was I in Tennessee? Went to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and also got a chance to see the Tennessee Oilers. It was the very first year when the club was playing in Nashville, the football team. Of course, now they're the Tennessee Titans. They were, I think, the Tennessee Oilers in year one. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats, and they played at Old Vanderbilt University. And Vandy, of course, is really the first time I was on that campus ever. Got a chance to see it. I remember it was a game in December against the Baltimore Ravens. Temperature was like about 80 some odd degrees at kickoff. By the time the game ended, it was like about 50 degrees. Temperature had dropped 30 Fahrenheit. It was crazy. It was an interesting game. And it was like Jim Harbaugh, I believe, was the quarterback of the Baltimore team at that time. Here's the pitch. 0-2 pitch on the way. Grounded softly over to short. They go to second for one. Back to first. That's a double play. That's going to go on the books as a 6-4-3 variety. As Oyama gone on the backside, Sato gone for the lead out. So 2 gone here in the inning, and that's going to leave it up to the shortstop and Seiya Kanami. Well, for Kanami, he enters the game tonight hitting .366, a homer and 8 RBIs. Obviously, a pretty good start to his season. Kanami, they always have sort of put some pressure on him in the last couple of years, as they've had brought in, was it Cam DeVerney? Was with the Pittsburgh Pirates last year. There's a fastball swung at it, breaks the bat of Kanami. He lifts it into left field. Moving over underneath it with room to make the catch is the left fielder Hosokawa. And Kanami is going to be gone for the third out of the inning. It's an unconventional 1-2-3. As they had no runs in the inning, there was a hit, no errors, and there was nobody left aboard. We are now moving to the bottom of the second inning. Your score is where we started. The Tigers nothing and the Dragons nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a bit with all the action right after this musical timeout.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Jason Vossler, Asahi Hanada, and Kaito Muramatsu to come to bat here. As Takahashi ready to deliver, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right field. Moving over underneath it, with plenty of room to make the catch, is the right fielder Morishita. And with one pitch, we have one away here, and that is going to bring up the center fielder in Asahi Hanada. 15 pitches in the first inning for Haruto Takahashi, so both of these pitchers have been working with great efficiency so far. Samurai Prayer says, famous for blues music, famous for country music. It is the Country Music Hall of Fame. in Nashville that is there. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Hanada. Hanada is batting .320 with no homers and 5 runs batted in. As the pitch is a fastball that catches the inside corner for a called strike, the count goes to 1-2. I was saying he's getting a start tonight. Okabayashi out for a little bit here with an injury. His consecutive game and innings played streak is over. Fastball swung on and lifted softly just past the bag at first base, foul, and that's going to keep the count at 0-2. You can pretty much have bet dollars to donuts as Hanada has returned it back into the batter's box that would be a situation where you look at, and they had the pitch on the way here to Hanada. I'll get back to my thought in a second. That's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And he was made quick work of by Takahashi. He's gone for the second out of the inning, so 2 quick outs. That is going to bring up the shortstop and Kaito Muramatsu. This game here has got quite the start to it and the pace. We were talking about the other night, and we were saying that a friend of our channel, Eric Fox, was saying that on getaway day in Major League Baseball, they would, if you took a first pitch strike, you would be fined. And so a lot of the hitters are up there hacking and taking their cuts. Breaking ball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Certainly gets the pace of the game moving along a little quicker. 0-1 on the way. There's a breaking ball that just misses down. Takahashi loses his hat in the process, and the count runs even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And if these two pitchers here continue to throw like they're doing here, as they squares to bunt, does Muramatsu, but he takes a breaking ball for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. I can say this, that we can pretty much expect that this game here might be a little longer than anticipated. This could be one of those games that goes 0-0 into extra innings. I can just feel it. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's a fastball that just misses outside. Oh, Takahashi wanted the pitch. Home plate umpire didn't give it to him. That pitch looked pretty darn good to us. We're not the ones calling the balls and strikes. When you're all the way around the zone like both of these pitchers have been tonight, you'd think they'd get rewarded. Here's the 2-2. Fastball swung on line, down the left field line. It's going to get in for a base hit. Over to cut it off is the left fielder Magawa. He fires it in, and that's going to hold Muramatsu to a long 2-out single. That is going to bring up the catcher in Takumu Kato. All for Kato as he steps to the dish. Batting, he's 2 for 4 on the season. He's got no homers and an RBI, so he hasn't been a regular in the lineup by any stretch. Tigers Dragons, rare Central League game on our channel. Glad we could bring it to you here. As the lefty holds himself to the set, now delivers. Fastball misses outside, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. We are going to look to this week to do some midweek, middle-of-the-night games. Potentially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but we'll have to see how that shapes up. As the 1-0 pitch is on the way, there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Lefty again working himself into the set position. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and fouled straight back. Oh, you could tell that Kato was talking to himself there. He was right on the pitch. As that ball was fouled straight back. 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Has not had a lot of time in the lineup, but what time he has produced, has Kato, at least on the offensive side. Here comes the 1-2 offering. And now they've got the runner hung up between first and second. It looked like the runner had tried to steal as Muramatsu's going to get down at second. He's going to be caught stealing. It's going to go 1-6. And he is going to be gone for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for the Dragons. Well, Another unconventional 1-2-3 inning in this one. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. Your scores were now through 2 complete. It is the Tigers nothing and the Dragons nothing. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action here tonight. Thank you for stopping in. We'll be back in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom third of the batting order to come to bat here for the Tigers. That means Maegawa, Fushimi, and Takahashi. Do you face the starter for the Dragons? It is Hiroshi Takahashi. Only 17 pitches in his first 2 innings of work, and he delivers a breaking ball, taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Maegawa. Maegawa batting from the left side, only 1 for 3 on the season, no homers and 1 RBI. The 4th pick of the 2021 draft, right up on the plate, and the pitch is on the way. Fastball backs him off the plate, and the count goes even at 1-1. Our Filipino friend is in the house tonight. He says, just in time for Central League action, watch the Mariners and Astros slug it out. I checked in on that game. It was 7-7 at one time. As the 1-1 pitch is on the way, it's a fastball swung on in line foul down the left field line. It's going to reach the seats. Count is 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Batting from the left side here is the right-handed and is the left-handed hitting Maegawa. Right-handed throwing Takahashi delivers. There's a fastball swung on and line foul over on the third base side. Count is 1-2. I have to say, I don't know if I like the mechanics of Takahashi. I see it sometimes at the major league level, especially with that of a Dylan Cease, Lucas Giolito, some of these guys, really short arm. That's where he is too, and I'm a little surprised by that. His take back is not long and whippy. Fastball misses inside. The count now 2-2. Our Filipino friend said the Mariners took it 8-7 tonight. I actually had a thought about maybe going down, and I think it was the Ichiro giveaway or unveiling. There was a fastball swung on his line to the left center field. It's going to get out for a base hit. It goes all the way to the wall. Picking it up is Hanada, and he's going to fire it in. And cruising into second with a stand-up double is Maegawa, as he is aboard here with a leadoff double to start the third, and that's going to bring up the catcher in Tori Fushimi. It was a split-finger pitch that didn't really split. It had more arm side run than anything. And that's partially because of the low arm slot that Takahashi has. The ball was running away from the hitter. It was a good piece of hitting. He stayed back on the ball, stayed inside the ball, and drove it the other way. Our friend Samurai Prayer says the Tigers' offense has been great, but it's difficult to get runs from Hiroto Takahashi. Well, they're going to have to fabricate something. Here's Fushimi at the plate. And the first pitch to Fushimi swung on, grounded over to third. They chase the runner back to second, and they throw to first. We're just about to say the words out of my mouth here was that, do you take your chances with Fushimi to bunt, move him to third, then you're 90 feet away from the plate. Now, mind you, the pitcher is on deck, but it's a bit of a wasted situation here, as now it's going to bring Takahashi to the plate to face his opposite number here in the other Takahashi. So for Haruto Takahashi, he's 1 for 3 on the season, batting from the left side. So he is a lefty-lefty as the right-hander ready to go here. Hiroshi Takahashi kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the word I would describe that swing there would be overmatched. So no balls and 1 strike. Hiroshi Takahashi working quickly as he works himself into the set position. Here comes the 0-1. Kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Koji Chikamoto is slated to follow here in the inning as we have the runner at second with 1 gone. And no balls and 2 strikes there. Way ahead on Haruto Takahashi here. Outfield is in very shallow here, especially with the pitcher batting. There's a fastball that's swung on and it's chopped into the catcher foul. So that is Kato who's behind the plate. He's going to get a chance to walk that off a little bit. It looked like it got him in the forearm. Left field and center field are in and shallow. The right fielder's a little bit deeper. And I would have to think with Vossler playing a little bit deeper, he's got a little stronger arm than the rest. You have an opportunity to throw out a runner at the plate if he had to. Here's the 0-2. Split finger pitch down, squirts away from Kato. He blocks it, does a nice job to keep it in front. He's going to run the count to a ball and 2 strikes. So 1 ball, 2 strikes it is. Again, the right-hander works himself to the belt. He checks the runner over at second base. That's Maegawa, as now he's ready to deliver to the hitter Takahashi. Now he kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on and is lifted foul down the left field line, and the count remains at a ball and 2 strikes. Pretty good crowd at the Vantolin Dome tonight. I would speculate that there's not an empty seat in the house for this one. Dragons typically draw well in Nagoya, and the Tigers, well, for this series, it's not all that far to get to. Bullet train stop or a few stops away from Osaka, and there's a fastball swung on and another one that's lined foul. And so this is now turning into the battle. I got to find the article. I had an article sent to me a couple of years ago, and it had to do with in the pitchers facing pitchers in Major League Baseball, and they were interviewing guys about how the different ones would say how they would feel when they have to face another pitcher, and sometimes the pitchers would get in their own heads when they face their opposite number, especially if you walk the pitcher or give up a base hit. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on, chopped right from the plate, grabbed by Kato, but the umpire says it's in foul territory. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. It remains here to Takahashi. Our Filipino friend says on Tuesday it's going to be a classic rivalry match again with the Tigers and the Giants. I don't think we'll jump on that one. I haven't looked at the upcoming schedule for next week, but I don't foresee that one in our call. We probably will bounce back to the Pacific League. There's a fastball swung on and another one fouled away, and the battle is going to continue here. This is going to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Hiroshi Takahashi. He has given quite the battle here. If he gets a strikeout, even if he strikes out here, he's going to get some fist pumps in the dugout when he gets back. Great job by him to make his counterpart, Hiroshi Takahashi, really work. Here comes the 1-2. Split finger pitch down, and the count goes now to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. You certainly don't want to walk the opposite team's pitcher. And this is why I'm a little disappointed. When you think of next year, the Central League is going to be losing the pitcher, or going to have a DH. They're going to lose the pitcher's batting. This is the beauty of the game right here in its finest. Watching a pitcher facing another pitcher and a battle at the plate. And here you are. It's not just 3 pitches and you're out. He's got a good battle on his hands. There's another fastball swung on and another one grounded foul. And the at-bat is going to continue here. This is a classic at-bat. Could be at least an 11-pitch at-bat. So here we go again as Hiroshi Takahashi has himself a new baseball. The left-handed hitting Hiroto Takahashi waiting at the plate. As the righty works himself into the set position, here comes the 2-2. As he kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on his line softly to the shortstop. Oh, what a great play. Leaping up and coming down with it is Muramatsu. Retreating back to the bag is Maegawa. And what a great at-bat that was by Hiroto Takahashi. He's going to be gone for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Koji Chikamoto. Our friend, the Filipino friend, says one of the other reasons the Mariners won the series match was the Astros yesterday because of Mai. Yeah, they said Mai also, he may end up on the injured list with a tired arm or a dead arm or something like that. It might be a trip to the head doctor. I don't know. But Mai off to a rough start in his big league career. So Chikamoto at the plate, 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded to first on the first pitch of the ball game. As the right-hander delivers, it's a breaking ball missing down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Our friend Samurai Prayer says adapting the DH rule can change the game in the Central League. Yeah, 1,000%. You know, you get an extra bat in the lineup. I think of over the last couple of years when the Tigers lost the championship last year, they were down a bat, basically. There's a ball that's chopped in front of home plate, but it's just picked up foul by Kato. It's going to run the count now even to 1-1 on Chikamoto. We're going to look at it again. It bounced in front of the plate, but the catcher had pounced on it, but the home plate umpire felt that it did not make it into fair territory. It spun back. So the right-hander, Hiroshi Takahashi, ready to go again. Here's the 1-1 pitch. On its way, fastball just misses off the inside corner. The count now goes to 2-1. So just again, when you think of how the Tigers lost that series last year, the biggest things, or at least that stood out for me, the bottom third of the batting order could not hit. They were getting 0 production from the left fielder. They got nothing from their shortstop. And then the pitcher spot in the order, and then even their catcher, I believe last year, Sakamoto, the starter, they didn't get much from him. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses down, and the count now goes to 3-1 on Chikamoto. So if you're not getting anything from your bottom third of the batting order, it could really make it tough. I mean, you got to get at least 1 or 2 games in a 7-game series to be able to get some production out of your bottom 3. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. On its way, fastball misses upstairs, and Chikamoto is going to be aboard with a walk. That's going to put runners at first and second, and it's going to leave it up to the second baseman in Takumu Nakano. Our friend Samurai Prayer says Hiroshi and Haruto, their names. Their names are so similar. Yeah, I've got Haruto Takahashi for the Tigers and Hiroshi Takahashi for the Dragons. And only similar as the last names, but one's a righty and one's a lefty. So to keep them straight is a challenge. I'm always having to look down on my sheet. Here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1 to Nakano. Oh, it's not Hiroshi, it's Hiroto. And Haruto. Haruto is the Tigers, and Haruto is the other one. Interesting. I'm gonna double up on that, and I'll come back to you on that. Why? There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 0-2. So Hiroto Takahashi for the Dragons, and that is absolutely correct. The other Takahashi for the Tigers. Sometimes I have to admit, when they have it, it's actually, they list it as Hiroshi Takahashi. If you go onto the NPB site and you get it changed into English from Japanese, that's where the difference is. The 0-2 pitch on the way, fastball misses inside. Count 1-2 to Nakano. So I use the NPB website, but I also get sometimes, and I have to check the name spellings versus that of some of the others. We get some really interesting name stuff. So sometimes, whether it be Sport Navi or Yahoo or even the team website, sometimes the translation takes you in a different direction. As the 1-2 is on the way, it's a fastball swung on, grounded off the glove of the pitcher over to the second baseman. They're going to have to hurry, and they're going to be able to make the play. That is going to be a ground out. It's going to go 1-4-3 on the putout, as it went off the glove of Hiroto Takahashi and ended up over to the second baseman, Tanaka, who fires to first to end the inning. And that is going to do it here in the top of the third. Well, they threatened to the Tigers, but they don't score. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the third inning. Stick around, everybody. We appreciate you guys for listening in on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We thank our friend Samurai Prayer, and we do appreciate your support and also your corrective measures. We'll be right back in just a few, right after this timeout. Nothing as we go to the bottom of the third. We'll be back with all the action in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. It is Takuma Kato at the plate here for the Dragons. He squared the bunt on the first pitch and took it for a strike, and then, or took it for a ball, and then he ends up taking a ball, and now he swings at a fastball and hits a ground ball up the middle into center field, and he's aboard with a base hit, single, to start the third inning here for the Dragons. The Kato was at bat in that last half inning when Muramatsu got himself caught trying to steal second base, thought he was going to get Haruto Takahashi napping, but that was not the case. So that is going to put Kato aboard. He's now 3 for 5 on the season, so he's off to a hot start. And this brings the other Takahashi to the plate. This is going to be Haruto Takahashi, and he squares to bunt, and he pops it up. And in to make the catch is his counterpart, the pitcher Haruto Takahashi, and that is going to retire him. Not a very good effort to bunt the ball there, as he's going to be retired for the first out of the inning. He popped it up, and they almost had a collision as the first baseman Oyama was racing in, and Takahashi had cut across him to make the grab. Samurai Prayer says, no, and we appreciate that as well. Sometimes it is difficult depending upon the sometimes the names, the enunciations. We were saying, different languages and different people will struggle with certain names. And names are important. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted into straightaway center field. He started in was Chikamoto, and then he backs up and makes the catch. And that is going to retire Fukunaga for the second out of the inning. And so 2 in the books, and that is going to bring up the second baseman in Mikiya Tanaka. As I was saying before, one of our other streams, I know that the enunciation of my last name, depending upon where you're at in the world, people will say it significantly different. That's because of how the letterings are and so on and so forth. So sometimes you just roll with it, and sometimes you have to make the corrections depending on where you're at. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. Tanaka had a sacrifice bunt his first time up. He is 9 for 47 on the season. The diminutive second baseman getting a chance to start here tonight as the 0-1 pitch forthcoming. Fastball swung on and lined foul down the right field line, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Mikiya Tanaka. So no balls and 2 strikes. Tanaka batting from the right side, chokes up on the bat quite a bit. He's not a big guy. If I had to guess, I'm going to say he's probably 5'6" or 5'7". There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted into the air into left field. Moving over underneath it with room to make the catch is Maigawa. And Tanaka is going to be retired for the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for the Dragons in their half of the third. Well, they waste a leadoff single by Kato. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. Your score as we now move to the top of the fourth inning. A third of the game is in the books. We are where we started. It is the Dragons nothing and the Tigers nothing. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action right after this timeout. It is our friend Harrison jumping in here tonight. Welcome, Harrison. Thanks for stopping in. And it is going to be Shota Morishita, Teraki Sato, and Yusuke Oyama to come to the plate. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Morishita. Morishita 0 for 1 tonight, struck out looking his first time up. Batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Takahashi. And the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down and in, and the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, as quick as the game appears to be moving, it's actually it has a schedule. There's no doubt about it. I usually look at the games in a bit of blocks. If you can get 5 innings done in an hour and a half, as that fastball misses down and in, and the count is 2-1. We're here in the top of the fourth, and we're 42 minutes into the game. We still got another 38 minutes to go. If we're under 5 in that time frame, then we're probably on a pretty good pace. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Count now goes to 2-2 on Morishita. But if it exceeds that, like it did the other night when we were doing the game, I think it was like the other night we called the game and it was like 2 hours to get 5 innings, and it was crazy. Here's the 2-2. Fastball swung on is going to be lined, and a nice leaping catch by the second baseman Tanaka, as he is going to be able to make that grab, and Morishita is going to be gone for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the third baseman in Teraki Sato. Harrison says, can you wish my girlfriend a happy 4-month anniversary? It was yesterday. That's sweet, Harrison. Great to hear. Hopefully she has got you in order and training you well. So that is going to bring up Teraki Sato to the plate, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses inside. It's 1-0. That was the 50th pitch of the ball game, delivered by Hirado Takahashi. As the right-hander works to the set. Yeah, Morishita, 6 home runs already this year. That is correct. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded foul just past the first base coach's box. The count goes to 1-1 on Sato. So 1 ball and 1 strike. When I was in Japan a couple of years ago, I was able to pick up a Koji Chikamoto jersey. There's a fastball misses upstairs. The count is 2-1. The pride of Waiji Island. Ironically, I actually didn't know that Chikamoto was from Waiji Island until I was on Waiji Island, because I got a buddy of mine who lives there, and his wife and their 4 children. Got a chance to throw the ball and play some catch at an Osaka Bay, right down at the beach. Fastball misses up and away. The count goes to 3-1. It was a hot, humid day, and it was pretty good because the body felt pretty good. Of course, when you're in the climate that we're in here, sometimes it's tough to warm up, tough to throw. A lot of stiffness. So here comes the 3-1 pitch. Fastball misses up and in. It's going to be ball 4, and Sato's going to be aboard with a 1-out walk. It's the second time he's been on base tonight, and now it's going to bring up Yusuke Oyama to the plate. And just on cue, we got CV baseball card collector in the house. Cesar, nice to see you in here. We thank you for your time and your support. We appreciate you for hanging in. As we were here last night, he is back around again. Harrison says he picked up some Japanese from Duolingo. And you can pick up some Japanese when you're in Japan doing your tour around and about. Always great to get plunked down in the middle of nowhere and have to figure something out. So here comes the first pitch from the right-hander Takahashi, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball. There goes the runner down to second to throw down, and it's going to be in time, and Sato is going to get gunned down, caught stealing. It's going to go 2-4 as the second baseman Tanaka was over covering the base. I didn't see if the pitch was a ball or a strike, so that is another caught stealing in the books here tonight. So each team has had somebody gunned down. Let's have to wait to see if Oyama was called a ball or a strike. It was a ball to Oyama. There was a breaking ball swung on and missed. Now the count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Oyama grounded into a double play his first time up. He's officially 0 for 1 in this one. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses inside at the knees, and the count goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike. And I think right now of the 2 Takahashis, it is The Tigers Takahashi, fastball misses down. The count goes to 3-1. That's Haruto Takahashi is a little bit more economical in his pitches. As Hiroto Takahashi is almost at the 60 pitch mark here in the fourth inning. So here comes the 3-1 offering as the right-hander again works to the set position. As he holds at the belt, and the 3-1 is on the way. Fastball comes up and in, and it dusts off Oyama. That's going to be ball 4. That'll get the sinuses cleared as that fastball buzzed the light tower. And that is going to put him aboard over at first, and it's going to bring Seiya Kanami to the plate. We were talking about some of the nuances yesterday in the game, and we were saying that the pitcher who hits a batter in the head it's an automatic ejection. Well, he was starting to walk a fine line there, was the Dragons pitcher, Haruto Takahashi. And our friend Eloy jumping in here as well tonight. Everybody is making a Saturday night appearance. Glad for you to pop in here, Eloy. Nice of you to join us. So Kanami at the plate. He's 0 for 1. He flew out to left field his first time up. Has a homer and 8 RBIs on the year. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses down and away, and the count is quickly 1-0 to Kanami. So 1 ball and no strikes. At times, for Haruto Takahashi, it has been easy. And then there's been other times where he has had to work a little bit harder. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike. The count's 1-1, and specifically the 11 pitch at bat that he had to deliver to his counterpart Haruto Takahashi. As our friend Eloy is from Monterey. Here comes the 1-1 pitch as the right-hander holds himself to the set. Now he delivers. Fastball misses up and away, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Seiya Kanami. Getting into that time period is, if you have picked the under so far in this one, you're smelling like a rose. It's 0-0 here in the top of the 4th inning. Here comes the 2-1 pitch as the right-hander kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung through and missed. And the count now goes to 2-2. Samurai Prayer says the Dragons Takahashi's command has not been as good today. I would agree with that. I would also say that some of his stuff hasn't been very good at times. Like, I don't see a lot of late life on his pitches. That's why there's been a lot of foul balls, especially in that marathon at bat to his counterpart. There's a fastball swung on at 95 and fouled away. And the count remains at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Eli says Japan is going to play here in Monterey the World Cup against Tunisia. Oh yeah, that's in the Soccer World Cup that's coming up in just over a couple of months' time. Not all that far away. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. On its way, fastball misses down and in. That's going to be 3-2 now to Kanami. You know, I went to 6 matches I saw 4 in Detroit and 2 in Boston in the 94 World Cup. I was supposed to go to 7 matches in France. That's a whole other story we could talk about on another night. All the games I had were in Saint Etienne. That was in 98. But I refused to pay the stupid prices for the tickets in Seattle or Vancouver in the Pacific Northwest. Ground ball chopped softly over to the right side, fielded by the pitcher Takahashi. He's going to apply the tag on Kanami. It's going to be a ground out to 1 for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for out number 3. We had no runs in the inning. There were no hits. There was no errors, and there was one runner left aboard. So we're moving to the bottom of the fourth inning. We are where we started. It is a 0-0 ball game between these two clubs. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. It's going to be Sano, Hosokawa, and Vossler when we return. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to come to bat for the Dragons in inning number 4. That means Sano, Hosokawa, and Vossler to face the left-handed throwing Haruto Takahashi. So the lefty, who is at only 36 pitches, delivers a first pitch breaking ball that misses outside. Count is 1-0. He has not had to work as hard as his counterpart. Has had to do it tonight, as Haruto Takahashi has really had to work. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted in deep center field. And moving back and underneath it is Koji Chikamoto. He's there to make the catch, and Sano sends it for a ride, just not far enough. He's gone out for out number 1, and that'll bring up the left fielder in Seiya Hosokawa. Well, for Hosokawa, he strides to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out to end the first inning. Off to a pretty decent start. Ironically, the Dragons were my dark horse, but they were my pick to get the third spot in the Central League this year. It's still early in the season. Breaking ball misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. But I do like the pitching. I do like some of the pieces that they have brought in to complement what is already in existence for the Dragons. And I think that they've got a chance to be able to get to the playoffs. I think everybody knows the Swallows' early season beautiful run is going to come to an end quickly. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. In fact, I think their wings have already been clipped. They're starting to fall in the standings. As the 1-1 is on the way, fastball swung on and grounded, foul past the third base coach's box, and the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hosokawa waggles the bat as he waits in the batter's box. As the lefty Takahashi rocks himself into the windup and delivers. There's a fastball swung on, grounded softly up the middle. Kanami fields it moving to his left. He throws to first, and they're not going to be able to get Hosokawa. It's going to be an infield single. They had really moved Seiya Kanami into the 6 hole quite a bit. He had to come a long way to have to field it, and he really doesn't have the arm to be able to get the batter runner Hosokawa in this situation. I can understand maybe why they had moved him over there. Hosokawa does pull the ball. We got to look at the replay. It's not even close. And that is going to bring Jason Vossler up to the plate, who's 0 for 1 tonight. Vossler has flown out to right field his only trip to the plate. Batting from the left side here against the left-handed throwing Takahashi. Pitch on the way. Slow breaking ball misses up and in, and the count is 1-0. Vossler in his second season with the Dragons, batting an even 300. He's 6 for 20. Bit of a versatile type player. He's getting the nod in right field tonight, but he can play in the infield on the corners. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Tigers Dragons, it is the bottom half of inning number 4, locked up at zeros. And ironically, I said in the first inning, we might see this all the way to 12 innings. Wouldn't bat an eye at it. 2-0 on the way. Check swing, and yes, he went. Run the count to 2-1 on Vossler. And our friend Ken Titus in the house tonight. It's not really the same without you here, Titus. We appreciate you for being here. Glad you can make it in. A rare Central League matchup on the channel. And enjoy it while we have it. So here comes the 2-1. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 2-2 on Vossler. How's it going? It's been going pretty good. The game has got some good tempo to it. Had a little bit of action. Nothing major so far. A couple of caught stealings. There has been some action on the base pass. Like, that's the one thing that I was thinking about in the game last night. How the game, there was 2 solo shots that had the game locked up at 1, and then the big inning, then there wasn't much until the end. Fastball that swung on and lifted foul, and the count is 2-2. I like it when there's a little bit of action almost in every sort of inning, either in the top or the bottom. Our Filipino friend says he's always up for a Tigers game. That's great. And I'm sure it doesn't matter if it's Detroit or Hanshin, but we're up for it too. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses inside. In fact, it almost hits Vossler. The count now goes to 3-2. They appeal over to the third base umpire, but they say that he didn't go. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Keep your eye on Hosokawa over at first. We'll see if they decide to put him in motion here with the 3-2 pitch coming. Sometimes they'll try to move to stay out of the double play. Here's the 3-2. Fastball swung on and fouled right into the feet of Vossler, and the count remains at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. As we said, it's a no-brainer. If you took the under so far in this one, you're kind of feeling pretty confident about yourself. Nothing, and there's no sign of runs to come. So here comes the 3-2 pitch to Vossler. Instead, they throw to first base, and getting back easily is the runner Hosokawa. So 3 balls, 2 strikes to Vossler. Again, waggling the bat. He's got those nice powder blue batting gloves. As the lefty works himself to the belt, now delivers. Fastball misses upstairs. They appeal to the third base umpire, but they say Vossler didn't go. Oh, he gets the call. That's going to be ball 4. Hosokawa is going to advance over to second. And now the Dragons have something brewing here, as it's going to bring Asahi Hanada to the plate. Well, runners on first and second here for the Dragons, as Hosokawa is at second, Vossler over at first. 0 for 1 tonight for Hanada, as he had struck out in his only trip to the plate. For those of the guys who are jumping in here, this could be a potential turning point. Only 1 gone in the inning. 50 pitches already for the Tigers lefty. There's a fastball swung on, and it is popped foul down the right field line, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. If you just joined us, we appreciate you for jumping in. No scoring to report in this one. Lots of zeros here so far. The Dragons are threatening here. They have had a runner at second base, and that was back in the first inning. The leadoff hitter Fukunaga got to second, but no further. Here's the 0-1. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. The game could use just that little extra bit of offense. Only 1 extra base hit in the game today, and that was off the bat of the Tigers outfielder Yukio Magawa. as he had himself a double. Everything else has been nickels and dimes. There's a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. Count remains at 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. The Dragons fans can't say they don't support. They come out in droves consistently. I would like to think that they would probably get rewarded with a team here in the next few years that give them something to come back to the park about with some joy and entertainment. There's a breaking ball missing down, and the count is 1-2 to Hanada. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. We thank everybody who has popped in tonight, as we said. Giving you the call on this one. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hanada. The runner at second, Hosokawa. Runner at first, Vossler. 1 gone here in the inning. Dragons looking to punch a run across. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to the center fielder of the Chunichi Ball Club as the lefty Takahashi works himself to the belt. Here comes the 1-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, popped up over in foul territory. It's playable. Underneath it on the first base side is Oyama. He's there to make the catch. Hanada's going to be retired for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone here, and it's going to leave it up to the shortstop in Kaito Muramatsu. Well, for Muramatsu, he is 1 for 1 tonight. He singled his first time up, but he was caught stealing. He tried to catch the pitcher, Takahashi, sleeping as he had taken off early. Ended up getting a gun down at second. So Muramatsu stepping in as the lefty left-handed hitting Muramatsu ready to face the lefty Takahashi for the second time. And the pitch on the way, fastball misses down, and the count is quickly 1-0. Ball and no strikes. Muramatsu waggling the bat. He's got silver batting gloves. Rest of the bat's on his shoulder, and then he gets himself into the position ready to face the offering from the lefty Takahashi, who works himself set. Pitch is on the way. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. This is by far the inning that Takahashi has had to work the most. He threw 36 pitches through the first 3. He's already thrown 21 pitches in this inning. Dragons batters are now finally making him earn his money. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball, take it for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. Not sure what Muramatsu was looking for there. That pitch was a slower breaking ball that just sort of swept across the plate. I think it got too much of the plate. I think Muramatsu might have wanted that one back. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got the lefty Takahashi. Getting a sign from his catcher, Tori Fushimi, who works himself to the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is lined right to the glove of the first baseman, Oyama. What a catch by him, and that is going to do it. That would have been runs for sure. But that is going to finish it off. Muramatsu hits the ball on the screws, but to the glove of Oyama for out number 3. No runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there was 2 stranded aboard. We are through 4 complete innings. We are where we started. It is the Tigers nothing and the Dragons nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action right here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the top of the fifth as we have ourselves a scoreline of 0-0. Both of these teams are deadlocked. It is going to be the bottom third of the batting order slated to come to bat to face the right-hander Hirado Takahashi. And that means it's going to be Maegawa Fushimi and his counterpart Haruto Takahashi. So our friend Eloy is wanting to know where God is Great is from. He is, I believe, in the Sendai region. Certainly in Japan, there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Maegawa. Maegawa 1 for 1 tonight. He doubled in his only trip. 66 pitches through the 4 innings for the Dragons Takahashi. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. I haven't been to the Nagoya Dome. That's one of the places that's on my list. I think I've been of the 13 main stadiums in Japan. I think I've knocked off 8. The only 2 or the only 5 I haven't been to: Fukuoka, the one here, the Koshin Stadium, of course. I've been there, but I haven't seen a game. The one in Nagoya, and then, of course, the one in Hokkaido and the one in Tohoku. So those 5 I'm missing. As that split finger pitch misses down, and the count is 1-2. And I have to say, as far as domes are concerned, and there's none of the domes in Japan that I've been to that knock my socks off. Although I have to say, I would be excited to go to the game to see the fighters. There's a fastball swung on its grounded foul over on the first base side. Count remains at 1-2 to Maegawa. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. But I don't know if I would say that I would be particularly excited to go to the Vantolin Dome. I do actually kind of like the dome in Tokorozawa, which is the home of the Saitama Cebu Lions. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count remains at 1-2. That one there, it's an open air dome. And what I like about it is to me, it's a bit of an engineering marvel where they put the dome on top of the stadium. It was an addition in the 90s. That stadium was built, if I remember correctly, it was built like in the 60s. Some early 70s, and then they put the dome on much later. There's a ground ball that's hit through the 4-hole into right field, and Maegawa's aboard for the second time tonight with a base hit. So he is now on the season 3 for 5, making it look easy. And that'll bring up the catcher in Tori Fushimi. Well, Maegawa keeps swinging the bat like this, they're going to find a spot for him in left field on a regular basis. I'm a little surprised that Sano gave up on that one. I thought that was a little too soon for the big fella. But I thought he might have made a better effort to possibly try to be able to get into the 4-hole to stop it. So this brings Fushimi to the plate, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out his only time up. And now he squares to bunt, and he takes a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and a strike. We were saying how the game looked like it was just speeding along, and now here we are in the top of the 5th inning, and it's kind of got to be a little bit slow here. We're saying about the 90-minute rule that I have. If you get through 5 innings in under 90 minutes, you're doing pretty good. We're now, that's in jeopardy. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball missing down, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Fushimi. Runner at first, Maegawa. Nobody out here in inning number 5. They're looking for first blood. As we said, I don't know what the over-under at the beginning of this game would have been. I would have figured maybe 2.5 or maybe 1.5. Certainly at this point, the under is winning. No score here. Here's the 1-1 pitch. On the way, fastball swung on and fouled straight back, and that's going to bring the count now to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Almost looks like a bit more of a cutter than anything else. Got a bit of a weird spin. It wasn't like a true breaking ball, but the spin wasn't that of a four-seamer. Certainly wasn't a two-seamer, but it looks like that ball was almost like a cutter. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is to Fushimi. Tigers fans are on their feet supporting. Here's the 1-2. Fastball misses inside. Count goes to 2-2. This would drive me crackers as a manager. You've got the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. They're kind of having their way with the pitcher Takahashi here. It's Magawa, the 7 hitter's got 2 hits tonight. Takahashi, the other pitcher, had a 11-pitch at bat against him. And Tori Fushimi, who is definitely not known for his batting, is forcing him to make some extra pitches here. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. On its way. Fastball swung on, lifted, foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2s. I mean, this is how I would put it with Tori Fushimi. I think if you put a tee at home plate and put a ball on the tee, I'm not sure he would be able to successfully get hits 3 out of 10 times with a ball on the tee. I'm not saying you got to throw it right across the plate per se, but you got to be able to throw it across the plate in some capacity to be able to retire Fushimi. One-time catcher for the Fighters, and before that he was with the Buffaloes. As the 2-2 ready to come, on its way, fastball swung on and fouled straight back, and the count remains at 2-2. This is what I was talking about earlier, where I just don't know if the late life on the pitch here for Rana Takahashi has been very good tonight. Even though he's been bringing it up at 95 plus at times, there's just pretty much a straight fastball. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. As the right-hander works himself into the set position. Now he kicks and delivers. Fastball, take it for a called third strike. Oh, Fushimi stood there like the house by the side of the road. He watched it go by for out number 1. That is going to bring up Haruto Takahashi to the plate. And for Haruto Takahashi, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He had that marathon at bat back in the 3rd inning in the 11-pitch battle. When he eventually lined out to the shortstop, Kaido Muramatsu, when he really worked over the pitcher here, and now the catcher Kato is coming out, probably giving a bunt defense sign. And already squaring to bunt is Haruto Takahashi. So he's got himself in a position here. The pitch on the way. It is bunted. It's down. It's a good one. It's going to be fielded by Sano. He throws to first. It's going to go as a sacrifice 3-4. It's going to put out Takahashi for the second out. Over into scoring position is Magawa. And that is going to bring the top of the order in Koji Chikamoto to the plate. Well, for Chikamoto, he's 0 for 1 tonight. He has also drawn a walk. He has grounded to first base. As Magawa gets his lead now over at second. 80 pitches now for the Dragons right-hander. Chikamoto with a slightly open stance, or actually now he widens it out even further. I like the way that he points his bat right in the direction toward the hitter. It's almost parallel to the ground, sort of like Julio Franco used to do. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses upstairs. Count is quickly 1-0. Chikamoto looking to get himself on base here. Base hit here could open up the scoring as Takahashi again works himself into the set position. And here's the offering. It's a fastball that misses just down and away, and the count goes to 2-0 on Chikamoto. So 2 balls and no strikes. If you just joined us, well, the ball game here locked at zeros. I said in the first inning, don't bat an eye if this game goes 12 shutout innings. Hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. So here comes the 2-0 pitch. There's a breaking ball that just misses down and away. They might as well just hold the four fingers up and put Chikamoto aboard, setting up a force at any base. It'll bring Nakano to the plate, but maybe they'll look to see if they can maybe induce a poor swing from Chikamoto. So 3 balls, no strikes. I'd rather take my chances, to be honest, with Nakano. So 3-0 here as the right-hander works set again. Now he kicks and fires. There is a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Sort of locked up Chikamoto on that one, but I think he was taken all the way. He's got to come to you 3 times. Might as well make him work. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. As the Dragons right-hander Hiroto Takahashi ready to deliver. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses down and in. It's going to be ball 4. And Chikamoto is going to be aboard with a walk. It's going to put runners at first and second. And that is going to bring up the second baseman in Takuma Nakano. It's also going to bring the pitching coach out to the mound to have a word with his young right-hander. So we have a little break here as they're going to come out and give him a little bit of a pep talk. And as we do that, we'll try to take a quick peek over and give you some out-of-town scores for what is going on across the NPB at the moment. Other games in the Central, 1-0 Swallows over Giants. That's in the bottom of the 4th. Top of the 4th, it's 3-0 for the Carp over the Bay Stars. Over in the Pacific League, it's 5-3 for the Fighters over the Hawks. That's in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 bottom of the 7th, Eagles over the Buffaloes, and 0-0 Lions and the Marines. Well, that conference is over, and we're ready to go back at it as Nakano waits in. As the right-hander ready to deliver again. Here comes the pitch. On the way, fastball swung on line to the left center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. That's going to get at least 1 run in. Chikamoto rounding third, and he's going to get held up, and sliding into second with a double is Nakano, and that's going to open up the scoring here. So Nakano with an RBI double. Chikamoto stops at third. In to score is Maigawa. And the Tigers have broken the ice as they now have a 1-0 lead over the Dragons. And that is going to bring up the always dangerous Shota Morishita. Good piece of hitting there by the left-handed hitting Nakano. He really did a good job keeping his hands inside the ball. And I have to tell you, that was a hustle double as he got out of the box in a big-time hurry. The center fielder had to get over to be able to pick that one up and get it in, but he was shading more towards right center field. So there was a lot of real estate in that left center field gap that they had to cut it down to be able to get it in. So this is going to bring Morishita to the plate, and the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on it, is grounded up the middle. That's going to get into center field for a base hit. That's going to get 1 run in, and now it's going to get 2 runs in. And Morishita has now given the Tigers a 3-0 lead. And just like that, the wheels are starting to fall off the apple cart as the Tigers are now in front with a crooked number here, 3-0. So everything was moving along nicely here for both of these clubs. And now, base hit here by Morishita extends the lead to 3 bagel. Morishita with that hit has now given him 13 RBIs on the year. And that is going to bring Teruyuki Sato to the plate. Sato tonight has been on base twice. He has singled and he has walked. And one would have to think this is probably going to be Takahashi's last song. I guess he's batting second to come up in the next half inning, so they want to probably try to get through without having to waste another pitcher. There's a fastball swung on, it's lined into deep left field. They're going to play Pepper off the wall. Fielding it is Hosokawa. Rounding second and heading into third is Morishita, and stopping at second with a double is Sano. So a couple of loud hits here. Back-to-back hits. That's going to put runners at second and third, and it's going to bring Yusuke Oyama to the plate. So they've got to try to find a way to stop the bleeding here, do the Dragons, as they are about to send their 8th hitter to the plate, are the Tigers. Our friend Wondrous Talk Show says, let's go. Absolutely. If you are a fan of the Tigers, you are in the right spot. They are now starting to flex their muscles. The first place Tigers versus the last place Dragons. And the separation is starting to come now. Time has been called. The home plate umpire has stepped out. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, it looks like they're holding up the 4 fingers. They're going to put Oyama aboard. They want to take their chances here. So an intentional walk issued to Oyama. They're going to take their chances with Seiya Kanami. And probably the right decision. That's going to set up a force at any base. So Kanami coming to the plate. He is 0 for 2 in this one. He's grounded to the pitcher, and he has flown out to left field. He is hitting .349 on the season, but he's off to a good start, but that is typically not Kanami's strength as the bat. So bases are full here. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball that misses down, and the count is quickly 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes to Kanami. Kanami waiting in here on the offering from the right-hander. The 9th hitter to come to the plate in inning number 5. And the pitch on the way. Fastball taken for a called strike. That was pitch number 90 delivered by the Dragons right-hander. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Just as a reminder, after the 5th inning is done, they do take a break in between the 5th and the 6th innings, and we will as well. We'll get our legs stretched out, and we'll get ourselves a hot cup of tea. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-2. That was a 2-seam fastball. That had some arm side run. Looked like it was starting inside and ended up coming right back across the plate. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. As the right-hander again working to the belt. Here comes the 1-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. And that is going to do it. I don't know if he struck him out or if it was actually a put-out by the catcher stepping on the plate. But regardless, Kanami is down on strikes. Out number 3 it is, and that will do it here in the 5th inning. Well, the Tigers draw first blood. They got 3 runs in the inning on the benefit of 4 hits. There was no errors, and there were 3 runners left aboard. Your score, as we're now moving to the bottom of the 5th inning, it is a 3-0 lead here for the Tigers. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action right after this on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. It is Tigers, Dragons, more action when we return in just a little bit.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is slated to be Cato, and then we will have ourselves more than likely a pinch hitter, and then the top of the order. And Fukunaga, it looks like the pinch hitter possibly moving in. It's going to be Rintaro Sugimoto. We'll have to get that confirmation in just a few, as there's a first pitch breaking ball delivered to Cato, taken for a called strike. Takuma Cato is 1 for 1 tonight. He's 3 for 5 here on the early going. Getting the start as the catcher tonight. As the pitch is on the way, fastball swung on, grounded up the middle. Fielded by the second baseman, Nakano. He throws to first. And Cato is in the books on a ground out, 4-3 for the first out of the inning. And that is looking like it's going to bring up the pinch hitter here, as it will be Rintaro Sugimoto. So Sugimoto in to pinch hit. That means it's the end of the night for the starting pitcher for the Dragons. And so there is the first pitch that was taken for a strike. There's a fastball swung on his check swing over the first baseman. Oyama fields it. He underhand flips it to the pitcher covering. It's going to go down as a ground out, 3-1 for the second out of the innings. So Sugimoto gone quickly. And that is going to leave it all up to Hiroki Fukunaga. Now, I will say this. If the people took the under in the first 5, and if the under happened to be 2.5, I think there'll be some upset people after the Tigers stuck 3 on the board in the top of the 5th inning. Everything was cruising right along for those folks, but I could see some utter frustration for some people. So this brings up the right-handed hitting Fukunaga, and he takes a fastball for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. Fukunaga 1 for 2 tonight. He has a single and a flyout to center field in his 2 trips. Fastball swung on. It is lifted into right field. Moving over underneath it is Morishita. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to do it. A quick 5th inning here for the Dragons, and they're gone in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Well, you know what that means, everybody. We're going to take ourselves a 5-minute break here, as it is going to be what we like to call our Japanese halftime. Your score as we move to the top of inning number 6. It is a 3-0 game for the Tigers. We'll be back with all the action in just a couple moments. We'll put the music on loop. We'll come back to give you all the action in just a little bit. We'll be right back, everyone. Appreciate you for hanging in here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be a lefty. It's going to be Koki Saito who is coming on in relief as he will take over here for Hiroto Takahashi, whose night is done. So a lefty coming on in relief, as that is where this one will stand. And we've got the lefty who's completing his tune-up tosses. He is going to be facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the Tigers batting order as we begin the top of inning number 6. Magawa has been all over the base paths tonight. He has a double, a single, and he has scored a run. He is 3 for 5 on the season as the pitch coming from the lefty is a fastball swung on. This is belted into right field. Coming in and making the catch on the run is Jason Vossler. So a decent swing, just got a little underneath it there was Magawa. So he is on one pitch retired for the first out of the inning. That is going to bring up the catcher in Tori Fushimi. Well, for Fushimi, he is 0 for 2. He is grounded out and struck out in his 2 trips to the plate. As the lefty kicks and delivers, that's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. As the lefty is going to kick and deliver, there's a breaking ball swung on it. It has popped up over on the first base side, and that's going to drift into the seats, and the count now goes quickly to 0-2 on Fushimi. So no balls and 2 strikes. So no balls and 2 strikes it is as the lefty ready to go again as he works himself into the set position. And here comes the 0-2. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Again, the lefty working himself into the set position. As he kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul. The count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. All the scoring coming in the top half of the 5th inning as the Tigers jumped out to a 3-0 lead, sending 9 hitters to the plate. They scored 3 runs on 4 hits, and they were threatening for more. They were able to chase the Dragons' Takahashi. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's on its way. It's a fastball swung on, grounded softly over to short, fielded neatly by the shortstop, and that is Muramatsu, who fires out Fushimi on a ground out 6-3. He's gone for the second out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the pitcher in Haruto Takahashi. So one Takahashi has survived. That is the lefty here. He is 1 for 4 on the season, and he's also got himself a sacrifice bunt tonight. 0 for 1 officially at the plate here. So he is cruising right along. As the lefty is ready to go, here's the pitch. Fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. The lefty ready to go again. Here comes the pitch. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes it is. And the lefty ready to go as he kicks and delivers. A fastball taken for a called 3rd strike, and that is going to put Haruto Takahashi in the books. That's 1 quick inning right there. As the Tigers go quickly and in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the 6th inning. Your score is the Tigers with a 3-0 lead over the Dragons. Stick with us, everybody. The bottom of the 6th inning is just around the corner. And we'll be here to bring it for you in just a few right after this musical timeout. Stay with us.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Tigers' Haruto Takahashi who is back on the hill. He's only thrown 65 pitches in his 5 innings of work, so he has a lot of gas in the tank, one would have to think, as he is just completing his tune-up tosses. He was the last out of the inning, so a little bit extra time needed on the in-between. That is the one thing that you notice when you're doing the Central League games, is they take a little bit longer. Our Ramon says Hawks Devil Magic. Not sure. Last time I peeked in over there, it was a 5-3 lead. And that was a 5-3 lead for the Fighters. It looks like it's now 6-5 for the Hawks. Oof. Yeah, the Hawks are something special. I haven't really paid tight attention to what is happening on that one, as we are locked in here on the Tigers and the Dragons. And coming to bat here is slated to be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. That's Tanaka, Sano, and Hosokawa. As the lefty rocks himself into the windup and delivers, there's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and so the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. The lefty Takahashi rocking himself into the windup, and he kicks and he delivers. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. As the lefty rocks and delivers, there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-2 to Tanaka. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as the lefty kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is taken on 1 hop by the second baseman, Nakano. He throws to first, and Tanaka is in the books on a ground out, 4-3 for out number 1. So 1 dragon up, 1 dragon down here in inning number 6. That's going to bring up the big first baseman in Miguel Sano. Well, for Sano, he is 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out, and he has flown to center field in his 2 trips. Big fella's average now at 186, 3 homers and 6 RBIs. Wonder at what point in time that they decide to have him sit down. There's a first fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I don't know what the Dragons' options are at first base. I think Hosokawa can take the glove over there sometimes. As the 0-1 is on the way, there's a fastball swung through and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. You know, when you look at Vossler swinging the bat pretty good. Although tonight he is 0 for 1 in a walk, he is definitely somebody who you would think would still stay in the lineup. There's a breaking ball down. They appealed to the first base umpire, and they said that Sano went around, and that is going to be it. He's going to be gone for the second out of the inning. We'll get a look at the replay on that one, and oh boy, not so sure. Although I have to say the first 2 pitches that were strikes to him, it wasn't like he was having a competitive bat anyway. Might as well just get it over with. The right hand and get him out of there. And that's going to bring up the left fielder and Seiya Hosokawa. Hosokawa 1 for 2 as the lefty delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on his chop softly over to third, and Sato lets the ball go right through the wickets. That was an easy routine ground ball, and he couldn't have made it more tougher. Sato, lots of daylight in between his glove and the ground. That's going to go in the books as an E5. So Hosokawa will get on base any way that he can. We'll get a look at the replay on that one. Drove it into the ground. It was a slow roller. And he just couldn't get down in time to be. Well, he did get down. Ball ended up squirting through him, right through his legs. Yeah, lots of daylight between glove and ground. Sato unable to make the play, and that is going to bring up Vossler to the plate. This is where the Dragons could potentially make you pay. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on and grounded, foul over on the first base side. Count is quickly 0-1. Vossler, 6 for 20 on the season, batting an even .300. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. Batting from the left side here against the left-handed throwing Takahashi, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that just misses, and the count goes even at 1-1. So a ball and a strike. Vossler, bundle energy at the plate. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on and grounded, foul over on the first base side. The count goes to 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes. Those of you who just joined us, it has a 3-run uprising in the top of the 5th inning for the Tigers. It's given them the 3-0 lead, and it's been pretty much a quiet night all the way around outside of that one particular inning. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. Vossler's in the books. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning, so damage control, the error that happens, doesn't do any damage. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 6 complete. 2/3 of the game is in the books. Your score is the Tigers 3 and the Dragons no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with all the action in just a little bit after this musical timeout. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the Tigers' top of the order to come to bat here to start inning number 7. It's just going to be Koji Chikamoto, Takumu Nakano, and Shota Morishita. We do have a pitching change, as it is going to be number 68 on the hill. And this is going to be Kenshin Makino. So Kenshin Makino on in relief. As another lefty here for the Dragons. So Makino is just completing his tune-up tosses and will be ready to resume the action here in just a couple of moments. Chikamoto, Nakano, and Morishita to come to bat here in inning number 7. As we wait for him to complete his tune-up tosses, we got the button on the hot mic here so that we have to tap out for a sneeze or two. Or for whatever reason, as we said, we have some allergies here in this time of the year, and it just seems to kick in right around this time of the year every year. Here's the first pitch to Chikamoto. It's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Cherry blossoms in the air, and that will do it to me. No balls and 1 strike as the lefty Makino rocks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Chikamoto. Chikamoto tonight is officially 0 for 1. He's grounded out in the first inning, and then he walked in the 3rd and walked in the 5th. He also came around to score the second run of the ball game for the Tigers as the pitch is on the way. Fastball misses down and away. Good stop there by the catcher, Cato, earning his money back there. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. So Makino ready to go again as he rocks himself into the windup and kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted down the left field line. It's going to go foul. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes to Chikamoto. Again, the lefty Makino gets a new baseball ready to go at it. He works very quickly as he rocks himself into the windup. And he kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on, chopped up the middle, grounded, fielded by the second baseman Tanaka, throws to first, and Chikamoto is retired on a groundout 4-3. So 1 quickly in the books here, and that's going to bring up the second baseman in Takuma Nakano. Well, for Nakano, he is officially 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a double, an RBI, and he has also grounded out a couple of times. In fact, his first 2 at-bats were both groundouts. Breaking ball swung on, lifted into left center field. Moving over underneath it is the center fielder, and that is Hanada, and that is going to retire Nakano for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone, and it's going to leave it all up to the right fielder and Shota Morishita. So Morishita striding to the plate. He is 1 for 3. He has singled and knocked in a pair of runs. He's also struck out looking and popped to second. There's a really slow breaking ball that floats up to the plate and misses outside. So ball 1 to Morishita. That was at about 60 miles per hour, just over 100 kilometers. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Morishita. We said Morishita 1 for 3 tonight, single with 2 RBIs. He knocked home the second and third runs of the ball game for the Tigers. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. Count now goes to 2-1. Looks like Takahashi up and throwing in front of the dugout. He'll be back out for another inning. There's a fastball swung on and grounded foul down the third baseline. Count 2-2 to Morishita. I saw a flash earlier that closer for Fukuoka, Sugiyama, had broken his hand. I know he pitched in last night's ball game, but I didn't see what had transpired. So I'm curious to see exactly what has happened to their closer. As there is a pitch that misses just inside, and the count goes full now to Morishita. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ramon says he was raging. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted down the right field line, giving chases Vossler. He slides, and he's not going to make the catch. As it does come down, he slides feet first into the fence. I always get a little concerned when I see that happening because I've seen guys break their ankles in doing that. We'll get a look at the replay again. Good effort there by Vossler. Oh, it actually landed on the top of the fence, just sort of where the netting would be to protect the fans. So 3-2 it remains. Well, if that's the case, if he broke his hand in rage, that's not his fault. Hopefully it's not his pitching hand. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded over to short. Fielded neatly by Muramatsu. He throws to first, and that is going to be a tag that's applied to Morishita. It's a ground out 6-3. That's going to do it here as the Tigers go in order in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. We're going to take our time to give you the Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We'll be right back after this. We appreciate you guys for hanging in with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. We got a new feature as we do have a poll. We just put it up here. We'll give you guys a opportunity. It says, do you think the Dragons will come back tonight? Type 1 or 2 in the chat. 1, yes, they will. No, they are toast. Either way, it is a new feature that we will try and experiment with from time to time. As there is a first pitch fastball delivered to the hitter Hanada, and he swings and fouls that one away. Balls and 1 strike. And we'll collect the polls here at the end, and we'll finish it off in the end of this half inning. So no balls and 1 strike. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 1-1. Hanada, Muramatsu, and Kato to come to bat here. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung through and missed. And the count goes to 1-2 on Hanada. So just kind of a neat little thing. I didn't know that this is a new feature that they have, and I thought that there's something else that we'll try as well. I don't know if we'll do it tonight. There's a breaking ball that just misses off the outside corner. Takahashi didn't like that. I think he thought he had a strike 3 for sure. And if my counts are right, only 5 strikeouts here for the Hanshin lefty tonight. The lefty ready to go again, rocking himself into the delivery. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and fouled right off the foot of Hanada. Keeps the count at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'm not sure if I really like the positioning where that pole is on the main screen. But that is the way it is. It's a kind of a neat little piece anyway. Let's see if we can make use of it in future events. Here's the 2-2. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right field. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble. And it's just going to slice foul, and the count remains at 2-2. Our friend God is Great says the game on the TV keeps going up because of the bad weather. Yeah, you guys have not had a particularly a great spring. You had the flooding. And you guys have had some tumultuous weather at times. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as Takahashi delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And Hanada has gone on strikes. He's out for the first out of the inning. He's going to bring up the shortstop in Kaito Muramatsu. Well, for Muramatsu tonight, he is 1 for 2. He's got a single and 2 trips. He is also lined out to the first baseman. He's had a couple of good swings in this ball game. He was also caught stealing as he decided to take off a little bit early. So he's batting from the left side here against the lefty Takahashi, who kicks and delivers a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. God is Great says there's tornadoes in their area. I didn't know that Japan got tornadoes, to be honest. Fastball taken for a called strike. I know obviously they get a lot of things. You get typhoons and you can get tsunamis. I didn't know that tornadoes were something in the area that you would also feature into. I guess where you get thunderstorms, there's always that chance. Fastball swung on, lifted into left field. Moving underneath it is Maigawa. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to retire Muramatsu for the second out of the inning. Let's go leave it up to Takuma Kato. Well, for Kato, he is 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and 2 trips. There's a fastball that is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Kato. So no balls and 1 strike. Kato, 3 for 6 on the season. As the lefty Takahashi delivers, there's a fastball missing outside. And our Filipino friend said the Eagles are also winning today. Yeah, I think it was 2-0 last time I peeked in. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses inside. Count now goes to 2-1 on Kato. Yeah, typhoon and hurricanes for sure. Takahashi kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 3-1. The pitcher's spot is next up in the batting order, and I would anticipate a pinch hitter in that spot. As the 3-1 is on the way, there's a fastball swung on, and it's chopped foul right into the feet. I think I would want to take my chances to get Cato out, let him put the ball in play. Because if he ends up getting on base, then the next thing you know, you're going to go into the bench and probably see somebody like a Seiji Ubiashi at some point, I would think, come in to possibly pinch hit. I'm not sure what else they have on the bench. Maybe, I don't know if Kenta Bright is on the roster tonight or Orlando Calixte. Fastball misses inside. That's going to be ball 4. So Cato aboard with a 2-out walk. And as we said, it's the pitcher's spot in the batting order, but it is going to be a pinch hitter. That looks like it is. The big O, that is Orlando Calixte coming in to pinch hit. So Calixte stepping in. He is 3 for 22 on the season, hitting a .136. So he steps in at the plate, not necessarily a big-time power threat. As the pitch is on the way, there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and a strike. 90th anniversary of the Dragons. I could have sworn I saw that earlier there in the year. Had a nice logo on the shoulder patch. 0-1 on the way. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count goes down to 0-2 to Calixte. So no balls and 2 strikes. Tiger fans in a pretty happy mood as their team is ahead 3-0 here in the bottom half of inning number 7. And the lefty working himself to the belt. Here comes the pitch. As he kicks and fires, it's a fastball swung on and missed. They're going to have to throw down to first. It's a strikeout, 2-3 on the putout. Calixte has gone for out number 3, and that is going to do it here in inning number 7. We had no runs in the inning, no hits, no errors. There was 1 runner left aboard. The score as we are through 7 complete. It is the Tigers with a 3-0 lead. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with all the action. Appreciate you guys for hanging around with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll kill the poll on only 2 votes. No, they are toast, and that is the way it is. We'll be back in just a few right after this. Thank you guys for hanging in tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. The top of the 8th inning is upon us, and it looks like we have ourselves yet another pitching change as the Dragons are going to their bullpen. As Teraraki Sato will be stepping up to come to bat. It is going to be number 91, Humberto Mejia, who is coming on in relief. So Alberto Mejia on here to throw for the Dragons in this one. And he is going to have to face Teraki Sato as the right-hander ready to go here. The pitch on the way is a fastball that squirts out of the glove of the catcher. And the count is quickly 1-0, so 1 ball and no strikes. Right-hander Mejia ready to go again, working himself into the set position. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded foul past the first base coach's box, and the count is quickly 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Mejia ready to go again, working quickly as the 1-1 on the way here to Sato. It's a breaking ball that misses down. The appeal over to the third base umpire, but they said he didn't go. It's going to run the count to 2-1. We'll get a look at the replay on this. Cato was really emphatic about it, and I think he's got a case. They were going to call that check swing an inning or so ago against Miguel Sano. I think Sato could have been rung up there as well. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, belted foul down the right field line. He got the barrel head out on that one, did Sato. And hooks that one over the netting. It's going to run the count now to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. For those of you who have just joined us here tonight, all the runs coming in the top of the 5th inning. As the pitch is a breaking ball swung on, chopped slowly up the middle, grounded, picked up by the third baseman. And no, it's not, as Fukunaga unable to make the play. I think that might go in the books as an error, E5 on this one. It was a chopper, had a lot of English on the ball, and then Fukunaga just got gobbled up on it. It was cued right off the end of the bat of Sato's bat. It went to the left side of the infield, and then it just gobbled up the third baseman. So we're going to put it down as E5. I'm not giving Sato any credit for that type of hit. But he is going to be aboard for the 4th time tonight. I don't get a look at the official scores either. Sometimes they flash you the hit or the error. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-0 to Yusuke Oyama. Oyama tonight, well, he's officially 0 for 1. He grounded into a double play. He walked, and then it was intentionally walked. So officially 0 for 1. Right-hander Mejia kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball missing outside, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Crowd is in good form here tonight. Cheering on their visiting Tigers as the home team, the Dragons, but they got much to cheer about here in this one. 2-0 on the way. Fastball just misses outside. It's now 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes. Waiting on deck is the shortstop. That is Seiya Kanami. So 3 balls and no strikes to Oyama. Mejia holds to the set. Let's see if he gets the green light. There is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 3-1 on Oyama. So 3 balls and 1 strike it is as the right-hander ready to deliver. As he kicks and he fires. Fastball swung on, grounded to short. They go to second for 1, back to first. Going to be a double play. That's the 2nd time tonight Oyama is grounded into 1. And it is also, again, a 6-4-3 variety. And that is going to retire Sato for the first out, Oyama for the second, and that'll bring up the shortstop and Seiya Kanami. They are now 2 in the books here as Kanami comes to the plate. 0 for 3 tonight. He has flown to left. He has grounded out to the pitcher, and he has struck out in his 3 trips. As the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and line foul down the left field line, and the count quickly 0-1. No balls and 1 strike to Kanami. Right-hander against the left-hander. As the 0-1 is on the way. Fastball swung through and missed. The count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Again, the right-hander ready to go a deal again as Mejia works himself into the set position. Here comes the 0-2 offering. Kicks and fires. Fastball misses up and away. Count goes to 1-2 on Kanami. Dragons are running out of time. The lefty Takahashi looks like he is going to come back out for another inning. There's a breaking ball, misses outside, and the count goes to 2-2. I wonder if they'll give him the opportunity to try to go with a full 9. I know he's going to be batting. Now, Takahashi is slated to come to bat. He'll be third in the next inning. That's assuming that Kanami doesn't get on here. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball down. They say he went. They're going to throw down to first base. It's going to be a strikeout, 2-3. The home plate umpire said he'd went around. And so that is going to retire Kanami for the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for the Tigers. They had no runs in the inning. There were no hits. There was an error, and there was nobody left aboard. Your score as we move now to the bottom half of inning number 8. It is a 3-0 lead for the Tigers. Top of the order to come to bat for the Dragons when we return after this. Appreciate you guys for listening in with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a little bit. We got our score line of 3-0 for the Tigers, and it is going to be slated to come to bat at the top of the order for the Dragons as they will begin the bottom half of inning number 8. 96 pitches for the lefty Takahashi as he is going to be embarking on the 8th inning here. It's Fukunaga, Tanaka, and Sano to come to bat. The first pitch fastball is swung on and fouled away. Count is quickly 0-1 on Fukunaga. Fukunaga 1 for 3 tonight. He has a single in 3 trips. As the lefty Takahashi rocks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-1. So a ball and a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. The lefty ready to go back to work as he rubs up the baseball. And pitch number 99 on the way. Here's the offering. It is a fastball swung on. It is popped up into shallow right field. Coming hard is Morishita toward the line, and now he's there to make the catch. And Fukunaga is going to be retired for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the second baseman in Makia Tanaka. Well, for Tanaka, he is 0 for 2. He has flown to left, grounded to second, and had a sacrifice bunt. So he steps in here. But, you know, as it is, it's 3-0. Right now, the Dragons are pretty much asleep. As there's a first pitch fastball taken on the inside corner for called strike. They're really a base hit and a bomb away from getting right back in this game. There's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul in the seats behind home plate. And the count is 0-2. So that's why I'm kind of curious if they're going to ride out Takahashi Let him try to do the work. Let him finish what he started. Or would they pinch hit for him in the 8th inning or in the 9th inning and then bring somebody else in to close it out? I don't know if I would do that. We'll see how he gets through this inning. There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul, and the count 0-2. I mean, certainly in the Japanese league that they do run their pitchers out a lot longer than most, or at least that they do in Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, they'd already be tapping out when you think of how many pitchers go over 100 or more pitches. Breaking ball down, that's going to run the count to 1-2 on Tanaka. Miguel Sano waiting his turn on deck. Bottom of the 8th inning, 3-0 Tiger lead here, and there's not that many outs left to play with for the Dragons. There's a breaking ball swung on and shot foul over on the third base side. Count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Takahashi back to work again. Here comes the 1-2 offering as he slowly works into the windup and delivers. The breaking ball that misses down. It's now 2-2 to Tanaka. Would have to think that the Tigers here, they definitely will ride their starter through this inning, but it'll be the next inning if we'll see if they pinch hit for him or not, as the 2-2 is on the way. Fastball swung on it is popped up just behind second base. Camping out underneath it is the second baseman Nakano when he makes the catch. And Tanaka is retired for out number 2. That's going to leave it up to the first baseman, Miguel Sano. So for Sano, he is 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out twice, and he has flown to center. Batting from the right side here against the left-handed throwing Takahashi, who kicks and delivers. Breaking ball swung on and grounded fair down the left field line. That goes into the corner, but they're going to hold Sano to a long single. Interesting there. I have to say I'm a little disappointed in Sato's effort on that. Sato, we've seen tonight, he made the error a couple innings ago, and then on that one there, he didn't even dive for the ball. He barely got over his side. They're getting lots of daylight. We look at that one there, and it was just right on past him. I know the ball got up on him in a hurry, and it's on turf field, but I would have thought you'd be a little bit more competitive than that on your defensive play. So Sano with a base hit, it brings Seiya Hosokawa to the plate with 2 gone and a runner on first. Hosokawa takes a first pitch fastball at the knees for a called strike, counts 0-1. Hosokawa 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and 2 trips. He's also reached on an error. Dragon fans are urging their team on. As I said before, one swing of the bat here, and we've got ourselves a brand new ball game. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball at the knees, take it for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Hosokawa. He's going to try to extend the inning here as Jason Vossler is waiting his turn on deck. So no balls and 2 strikes. Takahashi ready to deliver his 110th pitch of the ball game. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there is a breaking ball that swung on and chopped foul over on the third base side. And the count remains at 2s. No balls and 2 strikes. So no balls and 2 strikes as the lefty goes back to work. There's a fastball taken on the inside corner right under the hands. Hosokawa is down on strikes. He's gone for out number 3, and that is going to do it here for the Dragons in their half of the 8th inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left aboard. We are now moving to the top of the 9th inning. Your score is the Hanshin Tigers 3 and the Chunichi Dragons no score. Stick around, everybody. The ninth inning is almost upon us. We'll be back with all the action in just a couple of moments right after this timeout. Back, everybody. Another pitching change here is it's going to be number 30, Akira Neo, who is on in relief. And Neo, for those of you who are not familiar, he was one time drafted as a shortstop. And the little fella is on the mound now as a pitcher. He can really bring it up, as he was not happy that he was moving to the mound. But the big thing is the 25-year-old, well, couldn't swing the bat well enough to keep a job. He was a shortstop. A lot of things that were projected for him, but his best bet is on the hill, as that is what they felt. And that is going to bring to the bat here. It's going to be Maegawa, Fushimi, and the pitcher's spot in Takahashi. And the first pitch is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and one strike. Our friend CB says, is it me or batting average not a thing anymore? I saw the NPB leaders just like the MLB. Well, I don't know about that. There's a fastball that swung on it, is chopped foul over on the first base side. The count is 0-2. I'll have to get that to you in the next little bit. There's quite a few players actually that are hitting north of 300, even in this game tonight. I mean, for me personally, I've never been a huge thing on batting average. To me, it's always been on base percentage. Can you get on base a lot? Can you score a lot? And can you win a lot? Those things, all three, work hand in hand. As that breaking ball misses down, the count is 1-2. So whatever way you can find your way on base. And of course, you know, if you can get yourself the extra base hits, the doubles, eventually that should project into the power numbers of potentially home runs. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled right off at the plate. The count remains at 1-2 to Maegawa. But I will say this, that the mindset of organizations and of teams, and the thing that bothers me the most is that when you're thinking about the both Major League Baseball and the NPB, as there's a fastball swung on and missed, and Maegawa is gone on strikes for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the catcher in Tori Fushimi. Just the lack of competitiveness in the at-bats. Like, when you're teaching players to play, you're teaching them a model or a system. And I know in the minor leagues, when they had the shift on a couple of years ago, they would tell players not to bunt into the shift. Breaking ball misses down. Now, I don't know why. Like, in other words, look, if they're going to play me to shift as a left-handed hitter, you're going to move me around, I'm going to drop a bunt down, whatever I could do to get on base. That'll stop the shift. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count's now 2-0 to Fushimi. But there's like these, I don't want to say unwritten rules, but I know I had a fellow who worked for me for a number of years in the Red Sox organization. There's a fastball swung on and missed. After he got released, he'd worked for me for about 6 or 7 years, maybe 8 years. And he was telling me that they were explicitly told not to bunt into the shift. Here's the 2-1. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count runs even at 2-2. So you're training guys at the low level of minor leagues to do that. I don't understand why. Drop the bunt down, get off to the races. Maybe they'll stop shifting against you. Here's the 2-2. Fastball misses upstairs. The count now goes to full on Fushimi. So the reliever, Neo, is the fifth pitcher used tonight by the Dragons. As the 3-2 pitch ready to come, he kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field. Vossler moving in and toward the line. He makes the catch. That retires Fushimi. He's gone for the second out of the inning. And that is slated to bring up the pitcher in Haruto Takahashi. Haruto Takahashi. Let's see if it is going to be Takahashi. You betcha. This might be one of the less interested at-bats that he's going to have here. He takes a first pitch fastball just a little low for ball one. And you're right. The bunts are tactical. In other words, if you show that you can bunt, if you can do that, it's going to open up the hitting lanes. They're going to have to bring the corners in. Fastball misses inside. It's now 2-0 here to Takahashi. So you can show you can bunt. First baseman's got to cheat in. Third baseman cheats in. Opens up the hole between first baseman and the second baseman and the third baseman and the shortstop. Fastball taken for a called strike. Count is 2-1. But if you can't show that you can bunt, everybody can just sit back in the rocking chair. There's a fastball that misses outside. It's now 3-1. Takahashi has about zero interest in swinging the bat, and Neo can't throw the ball across the plate. Three-one on the way. Fastball waved at it, missed. That might have been ball four. I think Takahashi just wants to get this over with so he can get back on the mound. I don't think he wants to run the bases. So 3-2. I bet he's hacking away here. No? Oh, yeah, he did. That has got to be one of the funniest things that I've seen in a long time. I think the ball was in the catcher's mitt. He took a swing. It must have been seemed like a second after. He goes down on strikes. And as I say, I don't think he wants to go and run the bases. He just wants to get himself out so he can get on the mound. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left the board. We're going to the bottom of the ninth inning. That looked like it was straight out of bench warmers. We'll be back in just a bit with the bottom of the ninth inning right after this timeout. Unbelievable. Welcome back, everybody. Our friend R. Hamons says, I misses when the pitchers batted the MLB. Yeah, I sure do too. You know, if you have a pitcher who can hit, it just gives you that extra spot in the batting order to be able to do something. And if you got a guy who can't hit, well, it's a dead out in the batting order. And it also picks up the pace of the game. I mean, you don't have to go to the clocks. I mean, you go back in the day, National League games were always faster than American League games. Why? Well, because you have to make your pitching changes based on Are you going to bring him into the game or not at certain situations? You're not going to have, like, it's the DH. You got the DH. You can make your pitching changes. You don't have to do it in between innings if you don't have to. It takes strategy out of the game. But that's where we're at now, and it's a game that it's a thinking man's sport that they're trying to take the thinking out of the game. Well, here we are into the bottom of the ninth inning, and Takahashi still on the mound. It's going to be Vossler, Hanada, and Muramatsu to come to bat. As the lefty Takahashi, who delivers his 112th pitch, it's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Vossler. So no balls and one strike. Takahashi rocking himself into the windup. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball hammered into the netting, foul down the right field line. Count now goes to 0-2. Vossler 0 for 2 tonight. He has also drawn a walk. As Takahashi trying to close this one out. Here comes the offering from the lefty. Breaking ball swung on, chop foul over by the first base coach's box, and the count remains at 0-2. Here we are in about, the 13th, 14th game of the season for these ball clubs. And Takahashi is going to get the opportunity to try to get a complete game shutout. He's at 115 pitches. There's a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 0-2. And you have to ask yourself, when is it in Major League Baseball that you're going to see a pitcher get the opportunity to get a shutout? 3-0 game at 100 and how many pitches? 115 he's at right now. And with more to come, as I say, probably another 15 pitches in this inning. I think it has anything to do with the pitch counts. There's a fastball missing down and in, and the count goes to 1-2. I think a lot depends on the type of the athlete that you have, the pitcher. But they've changed the philosophy even in pitching in baseball. There's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. Counts 1-2. Now they want the pitchers to show all their pitches and empty the tank so that by the time you get through the order twice, they don't want you going through the third time for some guys. Guys out of the game in 5 1/3 innings. Here's the 1-2 pitch as the lefty kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. And Vossler's gone for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the center fielder in Asahi Hanada. Well, Hanada striding at the plate here. He is 0 for 3 in this one. He has struck out twice, and he has popped out to the first baseman. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that just misses outside. The count is 1-0. There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line. Count is even at 1-1. Yeah, there's another thing. The colleges, they'll roll their guys. I was at the game between Northwestern and Washington a couple of weeks ago. Fastball swung on and it's popped foul into the seats. So the starting pitcher for Northwestern got yanked. I forget what the score was at the time. It was like 6-1 for Washington. They bring in this lefty, and he absolutely dices for the last 6 innings. He ended up throwing like 100 and some odd pitches. And he goes the rest of the way. And Northwestern actually beat Washington 10-9 on a frigid Saturday night in Seattle. Here's the 1-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. And Hanada's in the books. Struck out for the 3rd time tonight. He's gone for out number 2, and it's going to leave it all up to Kaito Muramatsu. Anyways, my point being is that you got college guys who could go out and give you 100-plus pitches. And you got professional teams that are just babying their players, won't let them go, 80 pitches are already off to the showers. Don't get it. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded right back to the pitcher, Takahashi. He fields it. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out, 1-3 to end the ball game. Dragons go in order. No runs here in the inning. No hits, no errors, nobody left the board. Your final score is a 3-0 Tigers victory. Stick around, everybody. I'll come back. I'll wrap this one up for you, and then we'll give you the scores from around the NPB, and then we'll call it a night. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll break back after this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you again for listening with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We will wrap this one up for you. It's pretty easy. All the scoring came in inning number 5 as the Tigers sent 9 hitters to the plate. I was all ready to wrap it up, took my glasses off, and then I realized, hey, I can't see what I'm about to tell you, so we better get those things back on. I could lead for an entertaining evening. Well, it was a leadoff single by Yukio Magawa. And after a strikeout by Fushimi and a sacrifice bunt by Takahashi, Koji Chikamoto walked to put runners at first and second, and up stepped Takuma Nakano, and he doubled home the first run of the ball game, scoring Magawa and giving the Tigers a 1-0 lead. Then it was Shota Morishita's turn. He stepped up and hit a 2-run single, bringing home both Chikamoto and Nakano, and that was all the scoring the Tigers needed in this one to pace themselves to a 3-0 victory. The win, it goes to Haruto Takahashi. He goes to 2-0 on the year. The loss, well, it goes to Haruto Takahashi. He falls to 0-2 on the year for the Dragons. We'll take a quick peek at the out-of-town scoreboard, and then we're going to wrap this one up for you here tonight. Other scores in the Central League. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Swallows beating the Giants 2-0 at the Tokyo Dome. Top of the 8th inning, the Bay Stars have a 6-5 lead over the Carp. Switching gears over to the Pacific League, one final is in. It is a 4-0 victory for the Tohoku Rakuten Gold Eagles over the Buffaloes. The Baluna Dome, it looks like that is now a final as well, as the Lions have walked off the Marines 2-1 in the bottom of the 10th. And it is the Hawks flapping their wings. They have come back to take an 8-5 lead over the Fighters. They were trailing at 1.53. It's in the bottom of the 7th inning. That game is still underway. This game here, well, it was played in front of 36,675 people. It was 2 hours and 44 minutes in length. Again, your final score was 3-0. 3-7-1 for the Tigers, 0-5-0 for the Dragons. And that is it for tonight. Be sure to check the channel coming up this week. We are planning some middle-of-the-night games. And so we will update our schedule accordingly later on Monday. Once again, everybody who joined us tonight, our Filipino friend, Arma Holmes, not to mention CV, Samurai Prayer, and everybody else. We thank you guys for listening in. If I missed you, God is great. And also our friend as well from Nashville, Tennessee, Wondrous Talk Show. We're glad you all can make it in. Aloy as well from Mexico. Thank you as well. And we will catch you guys on the flip side. Anybody else I missed? Well, we'll get you next time. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you again soon.